Good morning. I'd like to apologize for the late start. We had some technical problems. I think the problems are solved. Committee on Parole is called to order. Today is February 8th, 2023. Time is 8:43 a.m. My name is Alfred Bankston. I will chair the panel this morning. To my left is Mr. Anthony Marabella, and to my right is Mrs. Pearl Wise. We are seated at DOC headquarters in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, with the staff at headquarters. Introduce yourself.
Sergeant Anderson.
Thank you. Our remote location today is Louisiana State Penitentiary, with the staff at Louisiana State Penitentiary. Introduce yourself.
Deputy Warden Tracy Falgood.
Taylor Graphic Classification.
President Lamoureux Classification.
Armin Shipley, Offender Records.
Jody Surgeon, Transition Specialist. Rochelle Ambo, Deputy Warden. Claiborne, Mental Health, Social Service Counselor.
That completes it.
One, you got the whole staff there this morning,
Yes, sir.
and welcome. We are ready for our first offender. First offender this morning is Alfred Bankston. Mr. Bankston, would you give us your full name and Department of Corrections ID?
Alfred James Bankston Jr., 348266.
Mr. Bankston, let me explain the process to you. I will read some information into the record. Once that information is in the record, we'll conduct a parole interview with you. At the appropriate time, we'll give Warden Falgood, Warden Ambo, and the staff at Louisiana State Penitentiary a chance to make remarks, comments, or observations. And then we have some, we have an entourage of supporters here today. And if I butcher any of these names, please forgive me. First of all, we have Beverly Bankston, your mother, and she would like to speak. We have Mr. Leroy Thomas Jr., a cousin, and Leroy is going to speak. We have Roderick Woodward, a friend, Nelson Taylor, paralegal, just a friend. You're not representing.
I represent with Rose Officer firm. Current investigations.
Okay. Okay. You're here with the family.
Yes.
Okay. Great. We have Ms. Lacey Dozart, and would you please introduce yourself as the attorney and for the record?
Yes, good morning. Lacey Dozart, attorney for Mr. Bankston.
Thank you, Ms. Dozart. We have Rosa Benyard, an aunt on Zoom, Gary Stewart, Ricky Kaplan, Eric White, Raquel Eason, Charlotte White. Mr. Eason is a godson, and Charlotte White is a cousin. Betty Carter, aunt, and Roosevelt Polk, a friend. And third speaker will be we have four speakers. We only allow three, so Ms. Betty Bankston, the mother, I know what she wants to speak. Leroy Thomas, the cousin, Nelson, Taylor is the paralegal. I'm gonna let Mr. Dozet speak for this. So speaking today will be his mother, his cousin, and another cousin, Miss Charlotte White. Thank you. After everyone is, before we vote, we will allow you time for a brief statement on why we should grant you parole, and then we'll vote. Do you understand the process?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Bankston, your DOC number is 348266. You're currently 50 years old. You're a third felony offender. And your offenses are in East Baton Rouge Parish, armed robbery. You were sentenced on July 27, 1998, and you received a 72-year sentence. Attempted second-degree murder in East Baton Rouge Parish. You were sentenced on the same date, July 27, 1998. Received a 50-year sentence. Conspiracy to commit armed robbery. You received a 49-year, 6-month sentence in East Baton Rouge Parish on the same date, July 27, 1998. All of these are running concurrently, so your total sentence is 72 years. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Your parole date is August 1st, 2021. You're not eligible for good time, and your full-term date is March 4th, 2070. Is all this information correct?
Yes, sir.
Your case has been assigned to me, Mr. Bankston. Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Bankston, tell us about the programs that you've completed in 25 years of incarceration.
I have completed anger management. I have completed substance abuse and 100 hours were pre-release.
And when were those completed?
I completed anger management like 2006. I completed substance abuse maybe 2016, I want to say. And 100 hours pre-release was like 2013 or 14.
Right. So you didn't wait till you knew that you were eligible for parole to start taking classes.
No, sir. I wanted to better myself. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get at. Okay. Now, what if you're, well, I was gonna ask you, what is your job assignment in Angola, but I understand that you're in GED classes now. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. And I'm a healthcare auditor.
So basically you're in GED classes all day.
Yes, sir.
And when are you only with the hospice or at the infirmary?
I'm a healthcare auditor in the dormitory. We have a dormitory that's housed patients as well.
Okay. And when do you have time to do your duties as an auditor?
After school, like at 3 o'clock. Yes, sir. We are to school at 3 o'clock. And from 3 o'clock till I go to bed, I help people.
Okay, great, outstanding. So are you a trustee?
I'm a Class C trustee.
Class C trustee.
Yes, sir.
And how long have you been a Class C trustee?
I think about since 2013 or 14. Excuse me.
Have you applied for an upgrade?
Not since then, no, sir.
Tell me about any skills or vocational training that you received while incarcerated or before your incarceration.
I worked in the kitchen. I've been in school this whole time and trying to get my GED.
How far along are you on the GED?
I have taken my HOSET test and I passed 2 of those classes, or 2 of those subjects. And well, I'm right there. I'm working on it.
Okay, great. Now, tell us why this panel should vote to release you with almost 47 years left.
I have taken the self-help classes that gave me a new way of thinking. I'm a healthcare audit that gave me compassion and love. And my mother, I'm my mother's only child, and I have caused her so much heartache and pain. And I just want to get my life on track and make a life with her. And I'm deeply remorseful toward the victims for my unthoughtful actions.
Mr. Bankston, I hate to do this with the family here, but you hadn't got your life on track yet. You hadn't got your life on track. In 2021, we 3 serious Class B disciplinary write-ups. You had a number 5 aggravated disobedience. What was that about?
Yeah, I was in the shower, and I wasn't trying to disrespect anybody. I was raised by my mother and grandmother. When I got out of the shower, I did apologize to the lady, but I learned something from that. I learned that I had to pay attention to the risk.
What did you apologize for?
For disrespecting the lady while I was in the shower.
Okay. And that's why you got the 21E also,
Yes, sir.
right? Now, tell me about the contraband.
That was smoking tobacco.
So they've been incarcerated for almost 23 years, and you're smoking tobacco, which you know is against the rules.
Yes, sir.
You've not gotten it on track yet. Let me just read a little something. You have 30 plus disciplinary write-ups in 25 years of incarceration, and the last 3 being only 14, 15 months ago. 21E is a very serious write-up, aggravated disobedience, and contraband. You're a sex offender. Have you ever had sex offender treatment?
I'm backlogged for risk management as we speak.
So you're a sex offender treatment. You have a terrible supervision history. You've been revoked on 3 occasions, 1994, 1995, and 1997. You've been arrested 3 times for sex offender registration. East Baton Rouge Parish District Attorney's Office is adequately opposed. East Baton Rouge Parish law enforcement is strongly opposed. Your victim has submitted a very strong statement in opposition. You have a history of violence. Your institution record should be good, but it's fair. need some more good time programs. Thinking for a change, victim awareness, Malachi dance, MRT. There's a whole bunch of programs that you can take. But I'm not so much worried about the programs, I'm worried about your disciplinary conduct. If you can't follow the rules while you're incarcerated, how are you going to follow the rules on supervision when you've been revoked on 3 occasions and been arrested 3 times for not registering as a sex offender?
I have learned,
Would you like to respond to that?
yes, sir. Since my last disciplinary, it was the teacher for me. I have noticed, I have realized that I had to notice the slightest risk in my thinking. And that's what keeps me moving forward in a positive direction. I'm grateful for that tidbit and that skill, and that's what I use from then to now and for now on.
I believe you, Mr. Bankston, I really believe you. But I need to see more time where your disciplinary conduct is right up free for at least 2 to 3 years. I need you to finish that GED. So when you do get out, you'll have a GED and you'll be more comfortable in my job. But with the supervision history, the history of violence, the extensive criminal background, and those write-ups, do you understand exactly what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Any questions?
I have one question. You go.
No.
I just noticed, there was a hospital stay, in 21. How are you medically?
At that time, I had contracted cellulitis. But at the same time, I have rheumatism arthritis, and I have been dealing with that since I was a child.
Doing pretty good now?
Yes, ma'am.
Because I see your employment plan is to be a car salesman. Is that it?
No, ma'am.
What is it?
Working at Thomas Chapel Cemetery
Oh, okay.
as a groundsman.
Oh, okay. That's right. I'm thinking about another case. All right. But thank you. That's all I have.
Mr. Barrow?
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Bankston.
Good morning.
It's wonderful to see you again. How are you?
Good, Your Honor. Good morning.
Morning. Mr. Bankston, I'm looking at your record. In 1994, I think you were 21 years old. You had a carnal knowledge charge. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Tell me a little bit about that. What was that? What were the facts of that case?
I was at a party. There were drugs involved, and I made some bad decisions. I made a bad decision.
How old was the young woman?
About 13 or 14.
Let's talk a little bit about your drugs. How long had you been using drugs?
I started using drugs like at 13 years old.
What kind of drugs did you start using?
Well, I started with marijuana, and then it escalated to like cocaine.
And how often were you using cocaine?
Basically like every day.
Were you using cocaine when these robberies occurred? When this robbery occurred?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever had treatment on the outside?
No, sir.
And you've indicated you've taken some substance abuse programs and some classes while you've been in prison. Tell me what your sobriety plan would be. How do you intend on staying sober when you get out?
I noticed my triggers. I know that I don't need drugs to cope with life. I don't need drugs to get over stress.
What are your triggers? Stress? What else?
Stress and trying to cope with life.
So let's assume for the sake of argument, you get favorable vote today and you get out soon. What would be the first thing you're gonna do in terms of your sobriety plan?
I'm gonna go and join a substance abuse class.
Okay, there's terminology difference sometimes. When you say a substance abuse class, do you mean like an AA meeting, AA meetings, or are you talking about some sort of a outpatient rehab place?
Like with NA meetings.
Okay, are you familiar with AA and NA meetings?
Not in the free world, but I heard of them here in prison.
Have you gone to any of those meetings?
No, sir. I've taken substance abuse class.
Have you taken any long substance abuse? Have you gone to Steve Boyle or any place like that that might be able to give you some long-term inpatient treatment to, you learn some triggers, but have you learned some tools to be able to make sure that you stay off of drugs?
I've taken two.
Sounds like you heard a little bit about AA, but you're not really familiar with it.
I've taken 2 substance abuse classes, and I learned that, like I said, my triggers and the habit.
You familiar with the 12 steps?
No, sir.
All right, that's all I've got, Mr. Negotiator.
Thank you, Mr. Mirabella. Warden Valgu, Warden Ambo, would you like to make any comments, remarks, or observations?
Mr. Roche, I think you've been pretty thorough in your questioning. I don't have anything else to offer.
Thank you. At this time, we'd like Mr. Leroy Thomas Jr. Would you like to come up and make a statement? Yes. You have a point.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Before we get started, I'd like to say a few things. I was in the Navy. I from the fire department 27 years. Never called in sick. But if you feel that my cousin not today, he has a home with you. And if he needs to do something or go somewhere, myself and a lot of others will make sure he do it. His mother, my aunt, and I run Thomas Shop. And we constantly need ground people. So he will work. And believe me, it is work. So we have a service to the public that people find and get to see. So I would say, I ain't gonna take him off, but he is loved. Everybody like to see him come home. So when I started at the fire department, he had just got arrested. I'm retired. So that's sure he's been there. So if you feel the need to let him out today, believe me, we gonna make sure he do what he needs to do. To community, if you gotta go talk to police, he will be there. You gotta take a fine, he will be there. You gotta take a test, he will do it. So we love him, and we want to see him home. Thank you.
I can feel the love, I can see the love. And thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Okay. Introduce yourself for the record and your connection with this case.
Nelson James Taylor Jr. I work for Roseanne Associates Law Firm. Also, I'm here as a friend as well. I want to kind of stand in the gap in context to what we were earlier. I think y'all know me. I've been before. I did 19 years in prison as well. I am a registered sex offender. This record is actually probably better than mine, because yeah, 30 some miles. I had 11 more, so I'm trying to give a little context to, prison record. I know his name. We were in the same camp, when I first came to prison, and I've seen this. I know you, and I know that if given a chance, he will flourish because he has to. He has Rose Island Social Law Firm behind him. He has me behind him. Want to make sure he does everything he needs to do to be successful. I want to talk about that. This is the 21. In our red report, in all 21 analysis, and we talked about what happened. Officer came to the dorm. He didn't get officer into the dorm, so he was turned around. And when she came through and she saw him, that he was turned around, she got upset. And he said he turned around since she came in, but but the report said that he was, but if you read the report, said that she gave him several direct verbal orders to stop. We're gonna sit there and give several direct verbal orders. Stop doing that. You stand there. It doesn't really make sense. Also, I want you to also look at sentencing. 21 is one of the most serious offenses that you get. You know what they gave him? They gave him isolation nevertheless. That never happened. Ever. So obviously, this year board kind of like also has to have credibility. And always also going to probably be more credible than the offender. But this circumstance kind of made believe that he wasn't actually doing.
Can you wrap it up, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir. So saying that when we're looking at the next context, you good man, you ready, stand ready, we're here to stand in the gap for him, let our people be successful. That's what going on about. Getting people out and be successful.
Thank you. Attorney Dozak, Mr. Nelson was speaking as a friend of the family, not in a legal sense.
Thank you.
His mother, Miss Beverly. Good morning, Miss Beverly.
I know Alfred as my son. Alfred was born unfortunately. But I'm happy that he survived. I had a daughter prior from the same birth defects that didn't make. Alfred has learning disabilities. There's a part there in the hemisphere part of the brain that never developed. It was difficult, and he has been trying to get a GED for years, but that there are some parts that's just not. So to bridge that gap, we've been working. Excuse me. I went back to school to learn how to help him bridge that gap. Some of the classes he has taken has been really good in helping for him to do that. Maturity, I see where he has so much more. And when the desire he has to be that he knows that he can be. I know for a fact that I saw changes in him, the compassion in him, the thinking of other people. He tells me, Mom, you gotta step back, don't let emotions get involved. You gotta just step back, take a few minutes, assess what's going on, something like, okay, thank you, Lord, because I can see the growth in him, I see the maturity in him. And most of all, I see the desire for him wanting to give back to the community. He started donating to the Abuse Girls Center in Baton Rouge, I'm not sure the name, I live in Florida. He sends donations, he was sending donations. He sent donations to a church in some small community here that was a part of us continent. So he started doing that. He really wants to give back. He wants to prove himself that he is and could be. Personally, I do believe, and I am proud of the man that he has become. Because from where he was to where he is now, he is totally a different person. And he's a good person. I am here to support him. And I'm willing to support him in anything he needs, outside classes, whatever he's needing to help him become and to become that respectful citizen and be able to move forward in his life. An opportunity over half of his life has been there. And I just want to say that if you favorably release him, we will make sure he will be on the right track and get the help that he help people need to help him become that.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bankston. Alfred,
Yes, sir.
you're a very lucky man.
Thank you, sir.
Your tremendous support. Would you like to give us a brief statement before Ms. Dozak closes out the hearing?
Yes, yes, sir. I am for the victims and their families and to the entire community, and even to my family and my mom. I know my past looks bad. It is bad, and I don't like it either. But now, the person I am now, I want to enter back into society. I want to be a productive citizen. I want to care for others once I'm released. And I know I can do great things in my community and for others. I will do those things. And I ask this board to please reunite my family, reunite me with my family. Thank you.
Dozak, close it out for us.
Yes, thank you. So my first impression of Mr. Bankston was that he was a quiet, humble, and remorseful man. And I know it may be hard or difficult to tell over the television, but he is very, very nervous today. And nervous, along with his quiet demeanor, and his humble demeanor, is why he's having a hard time expressing himself. But we've had good conversations, and in discussing the incident, especially that day, he expressed how sorry he was for the victims and how foolish his actions were. And we even spent time going over the correct pronunciation of her name because he wanted to give her that respect. That truly showed to me that he has grown so much from that boy that he was when this incident occurred, when the revocations occurred, when his drug use occurred. He has worked so hard to better himself while incarcerated, and that's apparent from the stack of certificates that he has earned. But what is more important is that he has learned how to love himself and others, and he has learned the value of human life. When incarcerated, he worked hard as a healthcare orderly, and even when it's not assigned to that position, he would still help others. He has watched those incarcerated get older and find it hard to care for themselves, and told me that he wanted to make sure that they had a good quality of life even though they were incarcerated. Mr. Bankston was deemed a low risk on the Tiger scale, and he has a wonderful transition plan and an amazing support system, which has been shown here today. He will reside with Mr. Thomas until he's able to be self-sufficient and back on his feet, and he wants to follow in the footsteps of his grandfathers in taking over the family business of the cemetery and the grounds. Besides his loving mother, Miss Beverly, Mr. Bankston also has several strong male figures and mentors in his life, ranging from a retired Baton Rouge fire captain, law enforcement, and even a retired correctional officer from Angola. He even has family members in the education system that are ready to help him overcome his learning disabilities and finally earn that GED. I know Mr. Taylor spoke as to the write-up, so I won't rehash all of that, but I will say that that is what parole was put in place for in this system, is to give an opportunity to transition to society to prove oneself. And I believe that the system has done its job here. I truly believe that Mr. Bankston has been rehabilitated, that he is not that same person that he was at 25 or in his 20s, that he deserves that second chance to get back to the community. And I believe that he is ready. And we ask that the board to grant him parole and add any conditions that they deem fit, whether that be the sex offender treatment, IOP, or any structured substance abuse that can make sure that he stays a productive member of society. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Josette. Is the panel ready to vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bankston, it has been a pleasure talking with you this morning. I think you're a very intelligent young man. Even though you have a learning disability, you are working very diligently to earn your GED. You've already passed 2 of the courses. How many more do you have left?
3,
3. Okay. Is mathematics one of them?
excuse me.
Is mathematics one of them?
No, sir. It's science, reading, and the essay writing.
Okay. Okay. And you will get there. You have a army of support, but I'd like to see a longer period in which you have no write-ups. No matter what the write-up say, the officer wrote it up as a Class B write-up, and I consistently deny individuals with multiple write-ups within 18 and 24 months of this hearing. Because I need to see some time where you have no disciplinary write-ups. You've been revoked on 3 occasions, been arrested but not registered. And that's another thing. Once you release, you have to register as a sex offender. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You've taken anger management, but you have a history of violence. The combination of all those things leads to me to believe that you need some additional time to work on that GED and improve your disciplinary write-up. All those things, the supervision, the arrest for not registering is in the past. And I think it will be in the past. I need to see better disciplinary conduct in the future. And I need you to continue working on that GED. So based upon poor supervision history, general disciplinary conduct that's unacceptable, law enforcement opposition, victim opposition, I'm going to deny your request today. And I'm going to ask you to continue to work on your disciplinary, continue working on the GED, and next time, maybe it will be different. I would like to see you rolled out to a long-term substance abuse program so you can have that treatment before you release. So when you are released, you have a GED, you have long-term substance abuse, and you'll be ready to go. This family will support you when you get released. And I want you to have everything necessary to be successful. My vote is to deny. Mr. Marabella.
Thank you, Mr. Rochette. Mr. Bankston, you're 50 years old, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Been in prison half your life.
Yes, sir.
History is not good. Your criminal history is not good. You've been revoked a number of times. But I don't think you're the same person that you were when you came to prison 25 years ago. It's clear to me that you have worked very hard. You've done a lot of things. Your disciplinary record overall is very good. 30 write-ups in 25 years, that's not bad at all. You do have these last couple of write-ups here. Taylor sort of explained a little bit about what may have happened, and I realized that those were recent. and I do understand that. But as I look at you, as you are today and what I've seen here today and the family support that you have here today, you've got good family support, you've got a good transition plan. I am concerned about your substance abuse issues. You said you were going to do some AA meetings when you come out, but I don't really think you have a grasp for the AA meetings and what they are and what you need to know about those things. Okay. I also agree with Mr. Roche. I'd like to see you get your GED, but I have a little different view than what he has. I think you're ready. My vote would be to grant conditionally upon your enrolling in a long-term substance abuse treatment program in DOC, such as Steve Hoyle. I think that would give you've got 9 months to complete that. And once you get out, follow those recommendations of Steve Hoyle and do 3 AA meetings per week and report to your your parole supervisor weekly, at least for the first 90 days. And of course, follow all of the sex offender registration requirements. I'm only one of 3 votes. That's my vote. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Mr. Turbo. Mrs. Wise.
Mr. Alfred, I want you to know that you changed my mind today. Your family support, when I read this case last night, you changed my mind today. Although you were nervous, you presented well. What I see today is you've always had this support, but now you got sense enough to listen to them. Now you want to be like them. You figured out that they were on the right track and you were not. That's what I heard today. And that's encouraging for me. My vote is to grant as well conditionally after you complete DOC's substance abuse program. And if time permits, the sex offender program as well. We had a case a couple of weeks ago. The lady took 23 years to get her high set. So when there's opportunities now on the outside to get your high set, just stay on it. And I concur with the special conditions that set forth by my colleague, with the added condition that you undergo random drug screens during the entire period of supervision. That means the officer can call and say, I need you in my office by 1 o'clock today, and just do a drug screen. And if you got support there, they'll do that. If you don't stay clean and sober, none of this is gonna work. Best wishes to you.
Mr. Bankston, you have received 2 votes to grant your request under certain conditions, and you received 1 vote to deny your request. Based upon you not having a GED, your request for early release has been denied. You have a good day.
Thank you.
I wonder if Mr. Marabella granted because he knew he would get denied. I do wonder that, because Mr. Marabella, from everything I've seen from him, he ran a drug court for 10 years or something. He takes it so seriously, the AA thing, and the idea that part of his plan was to go sign up for AA when he gets out, but he didn't even know it was called AA. He'd never heard of the 12-step program. I mean, he's been locked up for 25 years and he's done none of those programs. I was surprised at the tone of how kind they were, really considering the seriousness of that last write-up, being he is a sex offender, and that write-up sounded like that was related to that. I can only take a guess as to or we could probably take a guess as to what it was about. It's possible it was a little exaggerated or misconstrued. That's always possible. Man, I got to tell you, when you have a fellow sex offender taking the stand on your parole hearing to vouch for you, that's not great either, frankly. I guess because of the family there, I think they care for his family, and I think that they did take a lot of that into account. With that, I'll let you go.